Good morning, everybody, and welcome to our webinar today, GroupLink's Everything Help Desk and SkyCentral webinar. We're really excited about this webinar. We had another webinar similar to this a couple weeks back, and a couple of you may have attended that webinar. I'm looking through the attendee list, and I think all of you are new here. So this is going to be a really exciting webinar. We have so many good updates to show you from both the Everything Help Desk and SkyCentral. Both products have really cool demonstrations and features. The Everything Help Desk side, we're mostly going to talk about updates to it. The SkyCentral, this will be the first chance for a lot of you to actually see SkyCentral in action and what it does, and we're really excited about that. So let's go ahead and get started and jump right into it. We're going to remind you about our referral program. Tell a friend about Everything Help Desk. You'll get $50 when they see a demo and $200 when they purchase. You can send referrals to info@grouplink.net or call 801-335-0700, which is our main number. Okay, one more. Do we have any more announcements? No, we don't. Okay, so we're going to get started here. Catherine Thomas, our customer care manager, is our presenter this morning. She always does a great job. We always has great feedback when she presents, so we're really excited that she's here with us. And I'm going to pass the ball over to her and pull up the agenda slide. Good morning, Catherine. How are you doing?
Good morning. I'm doing great.
Glad to hear it.
Okay, so today we're going to go over the Watcher feature, which was actually released probably about 6 weeks ago, and then we have the release of 11.0, which has an SLA feature with some reporting, and then also we've just updated the installer. So we'll go ahead and go over that first, and then we'll skip on over to SkyCentral. So I'm going to share my screen here so that or not. Keaton, did you make me a presenter? The option isn't available to share my screen. Oh, there we go.
You just been made a presenter. Also, I forgot to mention that if you have any questions, go ahead and throw them in the Q&A box, and we will answer them at the end.
Okay, so first the Watcher feature. I don't know if anybody that's on the call has upgraded to the latest version of HelpDesk, but the Watcher feature was included in that. The reason that we went to this was just a way if there are certain people in your organization that need to view tickets, but that's it, maybe view tickets that somebody else entered. You don't necessarily want to purchase a technician license for them. And this Watcher will get all of the updates on the ticket, so they'll receive all of the same emails as if they were the contact person. So it's just a way to notify certain people in your organization. Some customers requested this so that they could have multiple technicians on a ticket. So in the assignment area, we of course have the person that is designated as the technician on the ticket, and ultimately the person responsible. The Watcher field, it just makes it so you can add in other technicians as well, and maybe they can collaborate and work on that ticket. Whatever rights they have to the ticket is what they will have when they can view it, or when they open that up. So if I'm a Watcher and I'm a technician, when I open that ticket up, I can still add a comment, I could change the status, I could update the priority, anything like that. If it's somebody that just has view-only rights, then like let's say a director and they just need to be notified when tickets are submitted in their area, then they're just going to be able to view it, and they're just going to be able to view the comments, they could view the status, things like that. But you can also give the Watcher their own rights, and I'll show you how to do that here. So the place that it's found as far as rights go is just in the permission model. We've just added it here to the bottom. So we have a view Watchers and change Watchers. So again, on the view, it's set to technician, which means a user can't add in a Watcher. If you want your users to be able to do that, then you can definitely change this to user here, and then that would mean anybody can see that Watcher field and anybody could add in an eHD user. And then here for the changing of the roles, of the Watcher role, this is set to technician as well, and I would advise that you leave it at this just so that the technician can kind of control that. But let me show you where it's found on the ticket. So here's the ticket itself. So I'm the administrator, so I of course have rights to everything, but I can just go ahead and submit the ticket just like normal. And then down here in the description area, it says watchers. And if you notice right now, it says 0, there's no watchers. And the way for me to add a watcher to that is to go ahead and click right on the number. And then when I click in the box, it's going to pull up any of the eHD users, anybody that is in the help desk. And so I can go ahead and select as many people as I would like, and then just continue submitting the ticket like normal. Actually, my IT department is not set up correctly. So here's my watcher. So as far as the end user would see, if you're going to give them those rights, they could add a watcher if they would like to. But if you don't want them to see that, then it would strictly be your technician that's going to be adding watchers or taking watchers off. So if you have any questions about that, just go ahead and put them in the Q&A and we can go over those in more detail. But it's basically, just two things: way to have other people view the ticket, and then also if you want to use it kind of as multiple technicians assigned to a ticket, then you can do it that way. So one other thing that I want to cover here, we had quite a few people requesting this, and so this is why I'm going to show it to you. We've always given you the opportunity to change up here in the upper right-hand corner and on the login screen. It has our logo, and we've always made it so that you can change those. But then if you ever printed out a report, for some reason we still had the GroupLink Everything Help Desk listed right there. And the way that you had to change it prior to this release was going into the files and hard coding it in. But now we've just added, it's just a much easier, much slicker way to do it. If you log in as the admin and you come here to the General tab, you can see down here at the bottom we have the standard logo, which is our logo, and then we have where you can go ahead and upload your own logo. So I can just go ahead and select this one. And then if you notice, as soon as I select it, this changed here in the upper right-hand corner. And then it's also going to be on the login screen, and it will also be on any reports that I print out. So that previously, the reason that we had this requested is customers would change their logo, and then they would print out a report, and it would still say GroupLink, and people were getting a little bit lost. So now it's just uniform all the way across. You can change the logo as you log in, when you're inside the system, and when you print anything out. But what we're going to cover now is the SLA. Now this is something that will be released next week in our April release. It will be version 11.0. And what we've added here, in order to add in the SLA, we had to add a field on the ticket, and that's a resolutions area. So if you notice, the resolutions has been added underneath ticket here for the admin. And all you do, it looks just like our statuses and priorities. You just add in as many resolutions as you can think of. So basically, after the ticket's been solved or not solved, you can put in the reason why you can't do that. So, if it is something that you can't reproduce, or if it's a duplicate ticket or something like that, you can mark that resolution status. These are the defaults that will come with it, but again, just like the statuses and priorities, you can change this to whatever you want it to read. As far as setting up the SLA, the first thing you're going to do is set up your calendar. There is a couple in here. This is my test database that I've played around with, but if I went ahead and clicked Create New, all I'm going to do is type in, let's see, I already had an 8 to 4. We'll go with 7 to 4. And then the days of the week that you work. And then you're going to have a start time, and this is in, it's just a 24-hour clock here. So what is 4/16? So go ahead and save that, and when I come back here to the business calendar hours, I see that one that I just created. And then I can go in and edit that, and I can add holiday schedules. So what we've done is if you click on Create New, the system is automatically going to detect what year you need to go to. So this doesn't have any holiday schedules attached to it, so it's going to go for the current year of 2015. But if you already had holidays in here for the current year, it would move to the next. So I'm just going to go ahead and click to go ahead and do that year of 2015. And then I can do standard holidays. And so what we have in here, you can select a different part of the country. So if you are someone in Europe, you can select that. I think everyone on the webinar today is in the United States. But you can get very specific, and you can go down to the state that you reside in. And then this area it goes even further for counties if there are certain holidays that pertain to that. So I'll go ahead and click Save. And the reason I'm selecting Utah is because I know that we have a holiday that others don't, and that's Pioneer Day, which is July 24th. So that's been added in here. But you can also add in other holidays. So let's say, if you work at a school and you have a teacher prep day, or a spring break holiday that you're not going to be there, then you can just simply click here to create a new one. You're going to put in the name of that holiday and what the date is. So it's pretty customizable as far as you as an organization being able to create the days that you're going to be in the office versus the days that you're not. And the reason that you're doing this is so that when the system looks to see if an SLA has been met or breached, it knows the time frames to follow and the days that you're actually in the office to where that SLA would pertain. So here under SLA model, there is a default model that you can use that, or you can create another one. And again, you can create several SLAs. This one I have in here just so that I could get some information in the system. I set the SLAs to 1 hour, 2 hour, and 8 hours so that when I put tickets in, you could see, if they were met or breached. But you can go ahead and create as many rules as you would like that pertain to that particular SLA. So now what I'm going to do is show you as a technician what this is going to look like. Actually, I got to find one that I did after the SLA. Okay, so if you notice up here in the top right-hand corner, there is a box that says SLA. This one is, both of them are negative here. But what I can do if I went ahead and closed this ticket out, and I'm just going to go ahead and say that this has been fixed. I'm going to save that. And if you notice, I breached this one by quite a few hours, so it's going to tell me that it's been breached. But this information can be viewed for any technician. It puts in this resolve date here at the top. We used to just have the created and the modified. So now you have the actual time and date that the ticket was resolved. So as far as the technician goes, they can view if they're meeting the SLAs, if there are SLAs that have been breached. And it just really depends on what your SLA is set to. But also, we have added this SLA tab here. And it'll default to the last 3 months. So the last 90 days will be in there. And actually, this is just, hold on, I got to sign in as the manager or the admin so that we can see this. So what you're seeing here, here's the last 3 months, and these are my technicians. Now, these are some technicians I haven't attached anything to. So I'm just going to scroll down to the ones that I have. So here we go. Here's these 2 technicians. And so the first area is response time, and the second area is resolution time. So we can see that there are some in progress, 7 tickets have been met. When I run my cursor over that, it will tell me. And then on the breached as well, it's going to tell me that there's 1 ticket that's been breached. So this is just quickly at a glance for those managers to be able to see that information. So the left column will always be the response time, and the right column will show the resolution time. So that's really about it for the SLA piece. Like I said, you can add in, if you have several SLAs, a lot have a 24-hour one, but you can add in as many as you would like, and then you can see which ones are being met and which ones are not. There also is, on the permission model itself, you can give certain rights for the SLAs as well. And this is one thing that, they need to fix before we release next week, just to change the words here. But basically, you're having to view the resolution or change the resolution, and then view that resolution date, which was up at the top. Most of these are going to all be set to technician, but again, you can go ahead and set these to the user as well. So if you want them to view that resolution status, then they can see it, and then maybe just your technicians can change it. So the next thing that I want to show you here is SkyCentral. I don't know how many people have heard about SkyCentral. We kind of have talked briefly about it at a few different webinars, at some trade shows. It's a sister company of ours that the HelpDesk does integrate with, but then they also have some of their own features that are pretty neat. They're pretty flexible and good for kindergarten through 12. We do have some items in here that are specifically set for them. So I'm just going to pull this screen over so that you can see what it looks like. This is only the second time that we've shown this. We showed it on a webinar about 2 weeks ago, but this is pre-release. So like Keaton said, we'll give you an opportunity to sign up for a beta version if you would like. But this is what it looks like. I'm logged in as a user right now. And so what I can do here, if I click on Launch Knowledge Base, then this will tie into the HelpDesk knowledge base, and it takes me right into it. I can do a search. I can view what's in here. We also have a way that you can submit a ticket. So if I click here, it takes me to the login screen for the HelpDesk, and I can submit a ticket that way. Some of the other features here, you can put in basically any type of request. So if you have things that are going on in your organization, and normally I would, submit an email to this person, maybe to see if I can get some time off. Rather than doing it all through email or filling out a paper form and turning that into your supervisor, we have a way to set up approval processes in this program. So all I would do as an end user is come here, and I can click to request time off, and I can go ahead and enter in, what I want, what the days that I want, maybe it's vacation, enter in anything that I need my supervisor to know that pertains to that request. And so according to the approval processes that I've set up, let's say I work on the HelpDesk, and so it needs to be sent to my immediate supervisor, and then my supervisor needs the approval from the manager. And so that's just the process that it would go to. And it automatically does it for me. I just submit it here, and then as soon as the supervisor approves it, then it goes to the next person. And so there doesn't have to be any sort of remembering to send that email or anything like that. It's just going to be set to whatever approval processes I have. So I can click here on My Requests, and I can see things that I have requested and what the status of those are. So we have open requests and then just the history itself. And so these are some things that I've submitted, and the status is set to complete. So, as the admin, I'm going to be able to set all of those things. It could say in process if it hasn't been approved yet. But there's just an unlimited amount of things that you can do here. So under the service catalog, if you notice, we have general services here that we have attached our HelpDesk items to. But we have this other tool here to request classroom tools or to request facilities. There's a lot of times in the K-12 environment that we have a lab that needs to be utilized at a certain time of day, and as a teacher I need to request that. But of course there's only 2 labs and there's 30 teachers, so the scheduling for that can get pretty complex. When we talked to people out at trade shows or when we were doing research to come up with this program, a lot of times one of the best ones I heard was that their librarian would keep a whiteboard in the room and people would sign up. But then they found that if one teacher wanted somebody else's slot, they just simply erased their name and put their own name in there. There was no way to regulate that. The other things I've heard is an Excel spreadsheet. It's kind of a principal's nightmare the way that it happens now because, you know, they have the final say in you know, who can use that particular lab or whatnot. And so there's a lot of arguing. There's a lot of explaining why I need it over this person. So with this tool, you can actually request it. You can see the dates that it's open. And as the manager or the principal, you can set up that approval process. And maybe there is teachers that need to have priority over other ones. In Utah, we do a Utah Rights test, and it's on the computer, has to be done on the computer for our 5th grade. And about 3 weeks before that test is taken, the 5th grade teachers really utilize the lab to get their kids ready to be able to put that information in the time allotted. So, you know, not only are they writing the essay, but as 5th graders, they have to be able to put that information in the computer. So, you know, there are different times like that certain teachers or grade levels would have precedence over other ones. And that's all things that you can set up here. As far as this one goes, to request a facility, you know, if you're the band teacher and you're going to have a concert, you know, you might need to go ahead and get that set up so that nothing else is going on in the building. And just reserve that time for you. So as far as the user is concerned, what they're going to see here is anything that they can put a request in for, and then they can view the history to see what's going on with it. There's also different things here. You can request software, you can request hardware through the program, and you can also request to get your password reset. And this is something that you can do from a mobile device too. So, you know, if you need to get into the network and you're either traveling or you're at home trying to work from there and you can't get into it, you forget your password. As the user, I set up, you know, 5 of my own questions that it's going to ask me before I can reset that password, you know, to make sure that we go through all of those checks knowing it's the right person. And then you can get that reset yourself. So it helps the end user in being able to get those passwords reset immediately when they need it. And it also helps the IT staff to where they're not constantly resetting passwords. I know that that's something that happens a lot on the help desk or with the IT director or manager. Resetting a password, it only takes a minute, but when you have to do it a lot of the time, it seems to take up more time than, you know, you're willing to spend. You can spend your time elsewhere. So that's basically it for SkyCentral. And like I said, Keaton's going to go ahead and put a link in the chat if you want to go ahead and click that and be a beta tester for us. And you can set up your approval processes, test it out, you know, see if it's something that you're interested in, or, you know, just give us some feedback even if you're not interested in purchasing it. You know, any feedback's great. So I'm going to turn the time back over to Keaton to see if there's any questions on either one of the programs here. But before I do that, I do want to mention that with our 11.0 release, we are also updating the version of Tomcat that is used from 6 to 7, and we are updating the Java that is used from 6 to 7. So the installer will change a little bit, and it's just switched to those updated versions. And then also, we are integrating with SAML, CAS, and it's called KeyShield. It's a single sign-on, one of our partners. So that integration will be there as well. So if you're looking for any of that, that will be in the version 11.0. So Keaton, I will go ahead and turn it back over to you for some questions and answers.
Thank you so much, Catherine. You did such a good job. We all appreciate that. Like Catherine just said, I threw that link in the chat box. So if you open your chat box, you'll see a link. If you click on that link, it'll take you to a page. It says you've been invited to try the SkyCentral beta. And you can fill in just, I think, 5 fields: first name, last name, email, company, and phone number, and get started on the beta. It's a free trial. And like Catherine said, even if you're not planning on purchasing, we'd love to have the feedback. So make sure you check that out. Now, at this time, we're going to give you just a couple seconds, just 30 seconds a minute, just to enter any questions you may have into the chat box. or excuse me, the Q&A box. So the Q&A box, if you have any questions, go ahead and enter those in, and then we will answer those, and we'll take a brief break.
Saying, is the watcher in release 11.0 or 10.5? And it is in the 10.5 release. That is already out there. Another question, can the SLA feature be turned off? Yes, you don't even have to use it. If you don't go in and set up any time frames or any SLA information, then the system will function like it's not even there. And then your other question, Jeff, of can specific users automatically be added as a watcher to every ticket? At the current time, no. It would have to be added when submitting the ticket itself. That is something that we can look at doing in the future, though. Okay, there's another question of Steve, you're currently on 10.4. You don't need to go to 10.5 first if you just want to wait for 11 to come out next week. That's up to you. But once you're on version 10, you can skip a few and you'll still get all of the updates in between. The hard one is to go from 9.3.4. We ask that you go to 10.0 first before, say, going to 11.0. Just makes it easier. Okay, so Merlin, you have another question. To set someone as a watcher, do we need to also grant them other permissions? The answer to that is no. To be a watcher, the only thing you have to be is a user in eHD. So let's say I am in the IT department, but I'm a manager, and so I want to see some things that are being submitted on the facilities side. So if I am a manager in the IT department, but on the facility side, I'm just a user, if I'm added as a watcher on the facility side, when I view that ticket, I'm only going to have those user rights. So whatever rights you have inside that group is what the watcher will have when they view that ticket.
All right. Thank you so much, everybody who asked questions. Thank you so much, Catherine, for answering those questions. And at this time, we're going to wrap up the webinar. One more time, look into your chat box and click on that link to try out the SkyCentral beta. Even if you're not planning on purchasing SkyCentral, we'd love any feedback you can give us. And we always remind you to connect with us on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and Google+. We're very active on social media, and we like talking with you guys whatever chance we can get, whether that's in person or over social media. So please connect with us. And thank you so much, again, for attending this webinar. We really do enjoy the opportunity to interact with our customers, and we've always loved the feedback that our customers give us in these customer webinars. They're very important to us, and we always put a lot of stock in them. So thank you so much for attending, and we hope you have a wonderful day. The recording for this webinar will be sent out in case there's anything you want to go over again. And if you have any more questions for us, we'll be on for a couple more minutes. Just throw them into the chat box, and we can chat back with you. Thank you so much, and the audio portion of this webinar is over now. We hope you have an excellent day. Thanks.